But here's what I do see. We got 222 Republicans and at least 250 plans on how to approach the budget and the debt limit. And based on our inability to organize around a single strategy at this moment in April, when you and I are sitting here, here's my plan. Let's just have a vote-a-rama. Let's open up the floor and hear all the plans. Patrick McHenry wants to raise the debt limit without corresponding spending cuts. The House Freedom...
That's the head of the Finance Committee.
Yeah.
He's Wall Street's guy.
Head of the Banking Committee.
He's Wall Street's guy.
So, hey, you know what? If he wants to put his plan up, you got to give a floor access. If you want to get a plan from the House Freedom Caucus, they've put out a budget. Let's put that up. Russ Vogt was, I think, very significant in the architecture of that. Andy Biggs has a package of 507 pieces of legislation on specific cuts to specific programs. Let's put that up and take a vote on that. We've seen the Republican Study Committee put together their game plan and blueprint. Let's take a vote on that. And guess who should also get a vote on their plan? The budget chairman, Jody Arrington. Because Jody Arrington came to the House retreat several weeks ago in Orlando, and he presented a menu of options, which, if all were adopted, would save this country from fiscal ruin. And it involves tough choices to programs like Medicaid, but I believe we...
Hold, stop. Because you're breaking news here. He's been kind of thrown under the bus, at least by the leadership.
Well, at least by the New York Times.
The Hill also. I mean, there's been a number of stories in here that he didn't have he was not on top of things. He came.
That is false. Jody Arrington is on top of things. He is very competent, and he laid out a budget menu to the members. And frankly, I thought that it was going to be milquetoast, and it was bold and it was effective at meeting the challenges that we have to meet. And it did not slash the defense budget, which is something that I would not support. I don't want to fund the defense budget of Ukraine and other countries, but I do believe that we ought to have the most technically capable military in the world, and we ought to have a qualitative edge over any potential adversary now and in the future. And so the Arrington budget would, I think, have pleased the Hawks.
Without touching Social Security and Medicare?
I believe that we have to have a discussion about raising the age of Social Security. I think that is not a likelihood with Joe Biden in the White House and a Democrat Senate. But do I believe that forever and always the age of Social Security will be what it is today?
But did Arrington's budget get to a balanced budget in 10 years with going just focusing on Medicaid and leaving Medicare and Social Security?
I think that Arrington rightly doesn't look at a 10-year budget window for balance. You know why? I've been here for a bunch of these 10-year budget windows, and you know what they say? They say, oh, well, we're going to do all the spending in the upfront years, and we're going to have the cuts in years 7, 8, 9, 10.
So what did Arrington say?
And so Arrington's budget had deep cuts in the early years. And that is all that matters.
Why could people not rally around that? That's what everybody's talked about and wanted.
We had one member of the conference stand up and say, if there's any cuts to the FBI or DOJ, that member couldn't support them because then we would be defunding the police. We had some members stand up and say we can't possibly cut any foreign aid. And the Arrington budget substantially cut foreign aid. We had members stand up and say, oh, well, you know, the Farm Bill and the food SNAP work requirements, you know, have to be very flexible for people with dependents. And I think Arrington's suggestion is there might be even people with dependents who have to make some effort at work or job training or improvement. And so the Arrington budget was not full of easy choices. But the easy choices are gone. You've given a lot of talks about this. We're not in a point where you can just say waste, fraud, and abuse and get to a balanced budget. You have to have deep cuts in early years.
Programmatically.
And I hope that because Jody Arrington saw that, realized that truth, and spoke the truth, that wasn't a basis for anyone to try to undercut him.
Let me, real quickly. But then he came out and said, I can't have a budget done until September, which is after it's the debt ceiling. Why did he do that?
Well, Jody Arrington has a budget, and we've seen it. And so I don't know about the timing of access to the floor, but here's what's happening. All these Republicans in leadership are trying to get everybody on board with a plan to go and vote for one plan. And what I'm telling you is there aren't 218 votes for that. But what we need to do is have every plan and to have them on the floor and to take votes. If we can take 15 votes to get a speaker, we could take a lot of votes to get a budget.
Short break. Gaetz is still